What's up everybody, my name's Big Cam and welcome back to another 1/6 scale Marvel figure unboxing. And today we are unboxing a very special Deadpool and Wolverine figure, and I think he only had maybe less than 5 seconds, maybe 5 seconds of screen time, but yet Hot Toys has given him his own figure, and that is the Hot Toys exclusive classic brown and tan John Byrne Wolverine suit from Deadpool and Wolverine. You can see a bit of, I believe that's figure photography on the front of the box there, maybe shot from the film, but we never saw Wolverine wearing the cowl with the brown and tan suit in the movie, so not exactly movie accurate there on the cover of the box, but still cool that they gave you a brown and tan suit and the cowl version of this figure, and it has that special Hulk reflection in the claws. I'm very curious to see how that looks. And now I think I'm genuinely at a point where I think I need to get all of the Deadpool and Wolverine figures. You know, some of them aren't out yet, but like the Age of Apocalypse Wolverine, Kidpool. Other than that, I think that's the only two that I need to get that aren't, you know, pre-ordered, on their way eventually coming in like 2026. But I couldn't believe how fast this one came out and it was available, so I was like, shit, I think I need to go on to eBay and find me one, because I tried to get it on Sideshow.com and it sold out immediately. So, able to get it on eBay. I think I paid a pretty fair price. Legal information around the back. Got some like bullets on the side and some claw marks. It says Wolverine Classic Brown and Tan, MMS 831, 1/6 scale collectible figure. Same thing on the other side, a little bit more claw marks, I think showing a little bit of the box underneath. Maybe not. But not gonna waste any more time. Let's slide off the top of this box. Ooh, boy. Oh yeah, the brown and tan. I'm not necessarily a brown and tan guy. Even in like the animated X-Men or like the comics, I've always been a yellow and blue Wolverine guy. And it's a shame that I've now ordered 2 of those yellow and blue Wolverines, and this one came in before both of those. So eventually the yellow and blue Wolverine will get an unboxing on this channel when that comes in, and I'll be able to do a figure comparison side by side with this brown and tan suit. But you got the Deadpool and Wolverine best friends medallion necklace on the front there. You got Boom on the side, some Deadpool art, some claw marks, the Deadpool on a unicorn, the classic Deadpool Wolverine logo on the back with the claw marks coming through the Deadpool logo. That looks like maybe some figure photography of the figure there. Some more artwork, some snicked at the top, X-Men logo on the side here. Another Deadpool on a unicorn. Deadpool and Wolverine on the side of the box running like they're in love. I don't know, that's kind of funny. Or Deadpool's in love and Wolverine's probably just fighting. Some skull and crossbones up here in the top. Yeah, very interesting, but I'm not going to waste any more time. Let's open this box and pull out this figure. Alright, just popping off the top of this clamshell here. Instructions down the bottom. Never want to forget the instructions. Always read those. Make sure you know what you're doing. It looks like it comes with a crotch grabber. It looks like he comes with that reflective Hulk in the blades, which is like a super nice touch, and like you can kind of make it out, and kind of crazy that that's even possible to do, and only from one direction, can't do it from the other side. So very interesting. Very interesting indeed. Yeah, you just have normal claws, not a whole lot of accessories, because I think this accessory was probably, you know, hard to do, but also something that they were like, we need to do because of how iconic that scene from the movie is. And to be honest with you, I was looking at some 1/6 scale Hulk figures to try and put this figure next to. I do have a Hulk, so maybe during the figure comparison section of this video, we'll toss this guy next to a Hulk, but not necessarily the Hulk that we see him fighting in Deadpool and Wolverine. Oh my god, you dull creature, and poof, gets backhanded into his tree stump. Now, I have heard some people saying that the Wolverine head sculpt looks ass. Now, I don't have the blue and yellow suit yet to compare head sculpts, but as far as just like looking at it in person here, it doesn't look too bad. I mean, it really, the hair looks really nice, and the actual head sculpt looking like Hugh Jackman looks really nice. It's just the expression, I guess, and the eyes, you know, going together he's kind of smiling, kind of just has his mouth open. I don't know. Maybe I'll rep this one. I'll at least show you guys what it looks like in the video. But maybe I'll have to rep this one. Maybe I won't. Who knows? I mean, it is more movie accurate because he didn't wear the cowl in the film. But maybe once I get the blue and yellow Wolverine suit, maybe I'll toss that head sculpt on this suit and maybe it will look a little better. But it's time now to take a closer look at this figure. And first impressions, having it in hand, my, what is this, second Wolverine that I've unboxed. And if you guys know from my collection, the other Wolverine I have is the black suited samurai Wolverine from the Wolverine movie from, what, 2013 or something like that. But either way, this brown and tan suit looks pretty freaking sweet. I didn't realize this is how good looking this suit was, you know? Like, in the movie, I didn't think it looked as good as it does sitting here in front of me. The X logo on the belt. Wow. The cowl. The cowl is brown and tan. It's not like the same yellow cowl that they just slapped on this figure. The seamless elbows. Something about the medical silicone arms now that they're able to do is just so impressive, but also unsettling, because like you feel it and you're like, God, he's jacked, but then it's like, God, it's squishy. It's like a human, you know, like it's like a little miniature human. Oh, it's so unsettling. But how's he stand on his own? It looks like he's got articulated ankles in the boots. Yep. Even though they're not split cut boots, you still got some ankle movement, which is nice. He can stand on his own. What, you saving the cool stuff for later? Killing mostly. Or something like that. But yeah, man, this is a pretty sweet looking Wolverine. He's got two splayed open hands that come on him, two fist hands, two kind of more splayed open hands. Look like the hands that are on him, kind of. Why do we need two sets of those? I mean, are these really that drastically different? What's the difference here? Oh, I guess this is more of a grab than what's just splayed out on him currently. Well, alright, I'm not going to waste any more time for y'all. Why don't we pull all of the accessories that the classic brown and tan Wolverine comes with, lay them out all on the desk in front of me here, and take a closer look at everything that Wolverine has to offer. Alright, we have the classic brown and tan Wolverine with all of his accessories laid out in front of us here, and just starting over here on the right, he does come with a crotch grabber and this little clear device to move his eyes, which I guess I can try and do now for you guys if this comes apart easily. But looking at this Wolverine head sculpt, not looking at the facial expression, the hair looks really good. The actual like molding of the face, the beard looks really good. And then you go, ah! It's like a jump scare, you know, like I don't have on hand the blue and yellow Wolverine face sculpt to compare it to. I will eventually compare those head sculpts in the future, but I don't know, maybe it's just the eye position that's making this look so bad. So maybe let's try and, I think you can just, oh, easier than I expected. Normally that's tougher. Yeah, I like these joints better than just the ball joint. The ball joint feels like you're gonna break it. But you can see here, you can slide this little device up into those eye socket holes there, or you can just use your finger and, you know, try and get some eye movement going. Nope, that's not quite right, but, you know, maybe a little bit of side eye. Still not quite with that mouth expression. It's hard. You know, like, you gotta need to get the eyes exactly right. Give me a second here. See, I don't even know if I got those quite right, but the eye, you know, side eye maybe looks a little bit better. Maybe that's how I'll leave it. You know, it gives it a little bit more of an alive expression. But that mouth, I'm not happy with that mouth expression. But the actual hair, like I was saying, looks really incredible. The way that, like, the Wolverine foops up, but also has this, like, tuft up front here. I mean, it looks good, and now I just can't wait to get the blue and yellow suit to compare the two head sculpts. But with the eye movement off to the side a little bit, it does help, you know, liven up this head sculpt a little bit more. But that head back on the neck connector, I don't know if this is fully connected the way it should be, because now this feels much looser than it ever was. But like, it's not coming apart, so I think this is back together, but now there's like that gap. I don't know, man. I'm not an expert in this shit, but I do love it. And you got to be careful with the pressing of that like hair. You can see the little indentations in my hands now from pushing too hard, and you know, you got to be careful when you're being aggressive. That head sculpt looks really good, but so do some of these hands. So let's take a closer look at some of these. He got this like grabbing hand, and you can see that little lip there. You can push down these hands so that they're more flush, or you can swap out the claws from the fist hands into any of these other hands just by popping this little piece off. And then, you know, you can come over here to the claw hands and say you don't want to have the fist claw hands. You can just pop those off fairly easily, and then go over to these hands and just go, you know what, I want the claws over here now. And, you know, pop those on, and it looks pretty damn seamless and pretty damn good. You know, it does have that little bit there, but maybe that's a part of the glove is why that's raised, you know, and you could justify it. But also, you could probably get that to sit down as flush as possible, but also you need something to be able to grab it again and get it out of there, you know what I mean? You don't have the leverage of the claws on just the, you know, the no claw hands. You know, so you need something to have to leverage to be able to get your fingernail underneath there to pop this little piece off. But not bad. Little brown and yellow gloved hands, little brown and yellow claw hands, you know. Got a right and a left there. I guess the you know, swapping out the claws from this hand has created a little bit thicker of a gap. I guess it's not the biggest deal though, but you know, you can definitely see I haven't taken the claws out of this hand, and that is sitting much more flushly than something that has been taken out and put back in there, you know what I mean? So just, you know, beware of that. If you're somebody that's not going to be swapping out the claws onto different hands, maybe you don't, and just have them look kind of perfect the whole time and they don't fall off, you know. And well, I don't know if it will fall off, but it definitely has like a gap and little unsightly gap, but it's not the biggest deal. I think I can maybe mess with this a little bit more to sit better. Sorry for the focusing there. This camera's so dumb. iPhones, you know, what are you gonna do? You can't live without them, you can't live with them. They're dumb as hell. But I wish these claws were die cast. They're still pretty sharp as plastic, but you could see they flex pretty damn easy. I wish they were stronger. I do have one other figure with die cast claws, and they feel so amazing. But we'll do a comparison to that Wolverine in the comparison section of this video. But just to take a closer look at these claws here that have the Hulk reflection in them, and I think you can maybe swap these claws out as well. I probably won't try it though. You can just leave them on this hand, and yeah, get that movie accurate reflection of the Hulk screaming in the claws. That's pretty cool. And then, you know, other than that, he just comes with this swap out face mold for the cowled head sculpt. So we'll try this in a second, but taking a closer look at that base he comes with. Not a bad little base. It doesn't necessarily remind me of like the tree stump scene from the movie, but what I do like about this base is that you can put these little rock ports to hide the crotch grabber base peg, you know, hole, but it comes with this side or this side, if I can get this one out of there. Yeah, so you can have it on this side facing that way or this side facing this way. So I'm here for that. I don't know if you'll need the crotch grabber. I think the figure feels pretty sturdy on his own. And like maybe you can have a foot down here and then a foot up on the rock, or a foot up on the rock and then a foot down here. Maybe just both feet out in front here. Although that doesn't look like the most amount of space. I think I'm going to be able to make this work though and get the most usage out of this base that I can. You can see some rock detail, a little bit of grassy moss detail. Maybe could do better, but also not too big a base. So I like that it's not like totally huge and overly cumbersome for no reason, you know. So I'm thinking that this might actually work out for the better. And yeah, let's just lastly take a closer look at that figure himself. Starting out down by these boots, you can see a little bit of dirt damage on there, but you know, you got forward, back. Do we have toe articulation? No toe, but we do have, you know, forward, back, a little bit of side to side without the split cut boot design. So I love that. It does come with these little flaps there at the top of the boot. Don't mind that either. Kind of reminds me of like a cowboy boot, but also kind of reminds me of like the blowjob handles on the Wolverine mask, on the cowl. But the yellow has a little zipper here, so I wonder if he tossed his phone or something, maybe some snacks in there. Another little pocket on this side. Interesting zipper, you know. So at the very least, thinking about Hugh Jackman, he had some spots where he could toss some stuff in his pockets, and then he could still go take a piss whenever he needed to. Maybe not be able to shit unless this is a functional belt, but hey, maybe sometimes you just need to take a piss on set and you don't want to have 4 people undress you. You know what I mean? Like, some of these superhero costumes, you're like, I don't know how they got out of that to go to the bathroom. And then you like hear them talking about it in the press tour and they're like, I didn't get out of it to go to the bathroom. It was impossible. And then by like the second and third movie, that's all that they're talking about. I had to add a flap back here so I could take a shit. But the brown and yellow suit, I don't think had these shoulder pads in the movie either. But, you know, you can kind of see how it pinches into the suit a little bit there, but still pretty good articulation range. And then, you know, you kind of got to push that back down so that it doesn't sit up there. But the actual skin detail itself is incredible. I wish it looked like a little, maybe furrier arms. You know, he is Wolverine, but yeah, impressive. Impressive indeed. That head sculpt. A little bit of battle damage on that as well, some paint scuffing and stuff like that. It is a brown and yellow head sculpt, you know, so it's different. It's not exactly the other head sculpts, you know, the yellow and blue one from the other figure. Yeah, I really like how this looks, actually. It's growing on me the more and more I look at it, but let's swap out that face mold. It should be fairly easy. Nope, I'm struggling. Oh, there we go. So pop that out of there. So now you got the angry face sculpt, and I think that looks better than just this normal face sculpt here. I think this one in my hand here matches more of like the mouth expression that he's going for with this head pose. You know what I mean? With this head sculpt. But that feels much more Wolverine to me, you know, all teeth, you know, gritting like he's about to go kill some fools. But I will try this head sculpt on this figure during the posing section and maybe rep this with this head sculpt. I haven't decided yet what my final decision for this figure will be, but seeing it with the angry head sculpt, the brown and yellow classic John Byrne Wolverine suit, I'm here for it. I really am. I wasn't at first, you know, I even ordering it, I was like, did I just order this figure just for this like reflection in the claws of Hulk? You know, like, did I order this just for this? And then now seeing the figure, you know, I was also justifying it with, I love Wolverine so much, I love Hugh Jackman so much, and I had already gotten most of the Deadpool and Wolverine figures already. So for me, I was like, you know what? Screw it. I'm gonna get this figure. It wasn't like it was crazy expensive either way. It doesn't come with that many accessories. So, you know, it was a fair price on eBay. It came in like a week later, which is awesome. You know, I've been getting stuff quicker from eBay these days than I do from HotToys.com. But this is a pretty damn good looking figure, so why don't we toss him into some poses and then toss him next to some other Deadpool and Wolverine figures and another Wolverine and see what he's looking like and how he compares next to them. All right, everybody, we have the classic brown and tan Wolverine spinning around on the turntable for us here, just standing straight up and down, fresh out the box, just as he comes. And then I have him standing there as if his Wolverine instincts have been alerted, but the claws haven't been retracted yet. And then the claws come out, but he's still curious, trying to locate where this enemy is that he can smell with his instincts. And then I have him with the angry faceplate for the masked head sculpt. And he's ready to leap into action. And he's got the claws fully out, ready to go, as he's jumping off the rock and kind of leaping forward. And then I have him with his angry faceplate like he's about to stab Deadpool. And he's got Deadpool by the throat. And Deadpool's just like shocked, like, hey, wait, calm down. And then I have his final look here, the classic brown and tan Wolverine versus Hulk, and the one scene from the movie that literally inspired this suit from Hot Toys, and the Hulk reflection in the claws, and also that like famous comic book cover, which I think is Wolverine #1. And the comic book cover has Wolverine in the brown suit with the claws out in one finger, like, come here, come to Papa. As far as hands for this Wolverine, he doesn't come with just a one finger gesturing forward, so I did the best I could with the offhand. But I think, you know, at least for the time being, I'm going to rep him with the Hugh Jackman head sculpt and the Hulk reflection in the claws, just because that's like the scene from the movie. But maybe eventually when I get the blue and yellow Wolverine suit, I'll be able to swap that head sculpt onto this figure, and maybe that will look a little bit better. But as far as this figure himself, in hand feeling and looking, it looks amazing. Articulation wise, I thought maybe if it had a slightly bigger base, or just maybe a regular hexagon base, you might have gotten some more poses off with him. But I tried my best to get some poses that fit this character, and this is my second Wolverine, so why don't we do a little bit of a figure comparison and toss my other Wolverine in the collection next to this brown and tan suited Wolverine. Wow, so you can see how a much older figure still can look good and be a good looking figure, right? Like the claws on the Wolverine from the Wolverine film, I think, which was 2013. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section, but this figure comes with a die-cast samurai sword and die-cast claws. So at least in that aspect, it's got a one-up on the brown and tan suit, which only has plastic claws. But I really do like these all-black suited Wolverine look. It almost is John Wick-esque Wolverine in this outfit. And I think the Hugh Jackman head sculpt from this figure does look really good. But you can just see how far technology has come with not only the bodies and the actual skin texture, you know, the seamless elbows, the medical silicone arms, even the head sculpt, even though this one, some people say doesn't look that good and the likeness to Hugh Jackman isn't there, you can see the likeness between an older figure and a current figure, and just how good and how much more life is in that head sculpt, even though the eyes and the facial expression on this brown and tan figure isn't the best head sculpt, you know? Like when I get the blue and yellow Wolverine suit, I guarantee I'm gonna go, yeah, that looks a lot better and a little less creepy. But sitting here in person, the head sculpt with those Wolverine claws and that brown and tan suit still looks really good. But I have one other set of figures I want to toss next to this Wolverine, and that would be a couple of Deadpools from Deadpool and Wolverine, and that would be the standard yellow suit and then the battling version suit. But I have a couple of other Deadpool and Wolverine figures that I'd like to toss next to this Wolverine brown and tan suit, and that would be the Deadpool battling version that comes out tomorrow in an unboxing video, so make sure you go check that out. But I also want to toss the clean, straight red and gold and clean suit Deadpool next to this Wolverine as well. Very interesting. I haven't necessarily done the video yet for the battling damaged Deadpool, which is on Wolverine's right, our left currently. But the clean suit, I don't know if it's just the way I have them standing, but like, does the clean suit look bigger than the battling version? I guess when we do a side-by-side comparison for that video, which comes out tomorrow, I'll get a better look at what those two figures look like next to each other. But I might end up doing some accessory swapping between the clean suited Deadpool and the battling version Deadpool, because the Wolverine claws that come with the battling version Deadpool are actually worn by the clean suit Deadpool in the movie, but those accessories doesn't come with that figure. So, you know, I'm sure some people are going to mix match their collections. I might end up doing that as well, but maybe I won't do that just yet. Maybe I'll keep the accessories with the proper figures they come with for the moment. But even the clean suit Golden Desert Eagles there, those guns are meant to be with the battling suit Deadpool from the end of Deadpool and Wolverine. But I say I'm gonna toss these bad boys on the shelf, and if you want to see what this Wolverine looks like on the shelf that he's going to be designated to with the other Deadpools, please stay tuned for tomorrow's video and you can check out that then. But this is going to wrap up today's Deadpool and Wolverine classic suit brown and tan Wolverine figure unboxing. I really appreciate you guys coming on by. And just to wrap up today's video, I wanted to give you guys a shot of what that Hulk reflection in the claws actually looks like. You know, you might need to find the perfect angle for it, but you can kind of resemble the Hulk screaming in those claws. And that Wolverine head sculpt doesn't look as bad as I was expecting, but that battling version Deadpool video will be out tomorrow, so stay tuned for that. Thank you guys so much for sticking around this far into the video. If you would like to support the channel, the best way to do that is liking this video, commenting down below, and subscribing if you haven't already. And make sure you hit that bell so you don't miss future Hot Toys unboxings and you get the notifications when those come out every weekend. And once again, my name's Big Cam, 2G's in the Big, pretty much anywhere you can find me. And I will see you beautiful people in the next video. Peace!